we understand what it's about.
Every time I touch the ball, I'm thinking I'm going to score.
And this is our chance to write our part of the story.
The wheels, ball, goes, touchdowns!
Like he looks like he wants to take someone's head off.
Oh, picked up! Into the mix! Dante McClellan!
The Bulldogs were put in the doghouse and the stables were left wide open for Ahmad Hardy. Welcome into the Tiger Kickoff Show. Jacob Siciliano joined alongside by our wonderful Missourian beat reporters Quentin Corpuel, Zach Sweet, Chase Jeems. Tigers get the win 49-27. Y'all were there. Immediate reaction.
Jacob, it felt like Thanksgiving came early for Mizzou football because everybody was eating on both sides of the ball. Ahmad Hardy goes for 300 yards. Matt Zollers, even though he threw 15 or 16 passes, looked way more comfortable than he did against Texas A&M. The offensive line was phenomenal. The front seven was spectacular, and the secondary, which was the root of some problems at times this season, came away with not one, but two pick sixes and a dominant win over Mississippi State.
I got 2 words to describe the game. Chaotic and resilient.
That's 3 words.
Chaotic and resilient.
That's 3 words.
Chaotic, resilient.
That's 2 words. There you go.
Chaotic,
Good job.
resilient. So the chaos started early, though, in the first half for Mizzou. They got called for 2 targeting fouls, lost Josiah Trotter and Nate Johnson, 2 defensive front players, 5 personal fouls in the first half, and they responded. Ahmad Hardy specifically, how about that? 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, they just kept giving him the ball and just kept running, just kept on breaking off big plays. It was that easy for Missouri and Missouri's offensive line, and it was a win that they needed. Missouri really needed this win after losing 2 in the spot they were in. That was the game that they needed. They delivered.
Yes, Hardy certainly got let loose, and the defense made a couple huge game-changing plays. I mean, Toriano Pride's 2 plays were some of the weirdest plays I've seen all year, but it happened, and the defense scored points because of it. And this also marks senior night, obviously. We're not football players or on the team, but we're all seniors. So it was a little emotional to say goodbye. I guess you weren't there, but the rest of us got to say goodbye to Faroe.
Jacob, did you even watch the game?
Of course I watched the game. You
All
know,
right, thank
unlike
God.
you who claim to be a box score watcher.
Oh, right.
Your accusations are tough. Hey, but you know what? The box score was lit up by one guy, and that was Ahmad Hardy. Let's check out some lights from his big day. What the hat says. Yeah, what the hat says. Here's Ahmad Hardy. Second play of the game on offense. Hardy, 34 yards. The drive ends in a touchdown, and Missouri's up 7-0.
His first carries the last 2 games combining to go for 74 yards. But unlike the A&M game, Hardy would continue putting up big plays here in the first half, starting off again with a huge run there down the right side.
And that's been the thing for Missouri as well, has been finishing drives. The big play from Hardy again resulting in a Missouri touchdown. Hardy 3 touchdowns on the day in total. We jump to the second quarter. Here's Hardy again, 10-yard touchdown run, barreling through, and oh, he's fired up. Tigers lead.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a really nice outside zone run again. You get the edge, and you see that block. You look at Norfleet right there. What a block from 87.
Jump to the third quarter. Hardy again. Track. That's all we can say. Green grass ahead, 72 yards, another big breaker for the workhorse. And Hardy, man, those legs just keep churning.
Yeah, we talk about a lot about Hardy after he gets contact, but in this game I thought his speed was really on display. You can't let that happen in the Mississippi State defense, letting it get through there. Good job by Hardy to bounce to the outside and get all the way down there for 72 yards.
It was Hardy's fastest run of the season so far. He was happy about this, but how about this one? Another one for Hardy into the fourth quarter. Hardy 43 yards. It takes a lot to get to 300, and he had plenty of big breakers.
That run, I believe, put him over his previous career high, which he set earlier this season. But the names of Tony Temple and Brad Smith, even though they were still ahead of Ahmad Hardy in terms of single game rushing history at Mizzou, it wouldn't be long until Hardy got there.
Under 2 minutes in the fourth, Hardy needing a couple to hit 300. Here it is, 19 high stepping, and he hits the 300 benchmark exactly.
I mean, I didn't realize we were just playing an Ahmad Hardy highlight reel, but I guess that's what it was. 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. What a game. I mean, you're up to 1,346 rushing yards on the season. Fantastic stuff from
Hardy becomes just the second Tiger in history to rush for 300 yards in a single game. He came just 19 short of Devin West's record versus Little KU. They were also the 6th most yards in SEC history. Gentlemen, what did we just witness?
2 words for you. Ahmad Hardy, must-see TV. Because that's 2 words, as we saw earlier.
But that was 5 words, Quentin. No!
Oh, no dap up? No dap up. All right, fine.
That was 5 words.
No, that was 5 words.
I didn't know we were counting.
I mean, I'll give you one more. Historic. That was awesome.
Yeah. Ahmad Hardy was the first 300-yard rusher, I believe, in the FBS since 2022. Frank Gore Jr., actually, football royalty. The first 300-yard rush game by an SEC player since Trey Mason in the 2013 SEC title game, which came against Mizzou.
I mean, Hardy's back on his crown. He's the #1 leader in FBS rushing yards now with 1,346. He's 280 yards away from Mizzou's single-season rushing record, which is definitely something to watch with 3 games to play. One would think he would get there, assuming they give him the ball like Jacob would like Mizzou to continue doing.
Sorry, Cody Schrader.
But, yeah, I mean, Ahmad Hardy is simply one of one.
Yeah, I mean, and I think going forward, they're going to let him do that. We saw that correlation. We talked about the correlation of getting over 20 carries, but there's also the correlation of him in the first half getting over 10. That happened against South Carolina and Auburn. Mizzou won those games. It allowed Hardy to get involved early and get the game flowing and the offense ready. And, you know, that continued through the second half as they just let him continue to build on his game and get to 300.
300, a special number. Again, you heard these guys' thoughts. Let's hear from Coach Drinkwitz on Hardy.
You know, they were playing quite a bit of man-to-man, which prevents overlap in the defense, and I think his speed really, surprised him. You know, this game means a lot to him. He was a Mississippi young man who wasn't recruited by that school, and so it was really important and meant a lot to him, and I'm proud of him.
It was kind of personal, but then again, like I told the guys, the seniors, I was doing it for them. I got number 9 on my forearm. It was I played for Zion Young and the rest of the seniors, so I really just give it to them. I actually didn't. I didn't even know I had 225. It was like you had 225, and I was like, well, I got to try to get to 250, and then next thing you know, it was 300.
So maybe not reigniting the Heisman campaign, but a campaign to be the best rusher in Mizzou history. Do you think that's possible for the remainder of the season, Quentin?
Yeah, I certainly think that's possible. I know I've maybe poo-pooed a little bit of Mizzou history on this show before, but I'm going to do so again because I believe this is true. I think Devin West is the true single-season rushing champion in Mizzou history. 1703, including bowl stats. They didn't include bowl stats, the NCAA did, when Devin West was in college. He would be at 1703 if they included the 125 he picked up in the Insight Bowl over West Virginia. Even so, Ahmad Hardy would only need to average about 119 yards rushing per game over these last 3 games, so the 2 regular season games and the bowl game, to catch Devin West's 1703. Ahmad Hardy's averaging, I believe, 134 right now, so he's on pace.
We just need to set up an interview with you and a historian, and you guys can just go back and forth on history at this point, Quentin.
I mean, Quentin basically is a historian at this point. I can't whip out all those historic numbers, but I can definitely say that from the eye test, Ahmad Hardy passes it. I mean, the way this guy moves, and it's like, right when you think you have him down, he just makes a move and makes the defender look foolish. That jump cut on the 72-yard rushing touchdown was so pretty to recognize the defense was overplaying the left side and just put your foot down and bounce it right, and then you flash the speed that Ahmad Hardy has. This guy really does have it all, and Missouri would be foolish not to just continue riding him the last 3 games of the season.
Yeah, and we've gotten to see some talented running backs at Mizzou when we've been here. I mean, Cody Schrader, I still remember how dominant that season was, but the way Hardy's playing right now is just kind of on another level, just with his speed, size, ability to, continue to get yards after contact. He's a special talent, and I think going forward, Oklahoma might be a tougher defensive challenge, but I think it's on the table for him to get that single season record, and they need to try to get him there, I think.
Zach, you mentioned the eye test. There's another player who we'll see if he passed the eye test or not. It's freshman quarterback Matt Zollers. Let's check the highlights from how he played. There he is, QB1 as a true freshman, looking to rebound after a rough appearance against Texas A&M. Zollers here, free play, finds Donovan Olubide, true freshman to true freshman, 26-yard touchdown pass. The Tigers up 7-0.
Yeah, Zollers said after the game they weren't intending to snap the ball on this play, but they got Mississippi State to jump off sides, and it's really nice to have a receiver like Olubide where you can just throw a deep shot to the end zone and expect him to come down with it like he did there for the game's opening score.
That connection is going to be special for sure, and one that we hope to see for a long time. Still in the first quarter, Zollers finds Joshua Manning. The first quarter was all Zollers, 34-yard touchdown, 25 of them after the catch. Missouri, their second touchdown.
Yeah, the best thing that Zollers did here is he took the easy throw. Missouri did a really good job of getting him in rhythm early. He completed 4 of his first 5 passes. That was an emphasis in the game plan coming into the game, and Missouri successfully executed that. Joshua Manning makes the defense look foolish once he gets the ball in his hands. Take what the defense gives you. It's really that simple sometimes.
Here's what Eli Drinkwitz had to say about his true freshman quarterback after the win.
Really proud of Matt Zollers for the way he played tonight. Obviously started really fast and then bounced back after the interception.
The main point of emphasis all week was to get me in a rhythm early, and I feel like we did that, and that was definitely helpful throughout the game. Just kind of seeing the first pass be completed and then a couple after that just feels good. Like, oh, you're meant for this. You know you can do it. So it just feels nice.
So how do y'all evaluate Zollers' performance as starting quarterback after a rough appearance against A&M?
Yeah, he looked much more comfortable than he did against Texas A&M. Zach already touched on it. Zollers touched on it. Drinkwitz touched on it in the postgame. But they needed to find a way to get him in a rhythm earlier. And I compare it to this. In basketball, when you watch a great shooter warm up, they don't usually start with three-pointers. I'll take Steph Curry, for example. Steph, even though he's great at shooting three-pointers, he starts close to the basket. So by the time he moves out to the three-point line and beyond in the different area codes, he's already seen a bunch of shots go in. He's warmed up. That'll increase your chances of making those three-pointers. Zollers just never got into that kind of rhythm against Texas A&M. He started by shooting three-pointers. That's a tough ask, especially for a true freshman quarterback. I thought he was making throws that were way higher percentage than he was against the Aggies, and that paid dividends for Mizzou, even though his passing volume wasn't very high.
Yeah, he finished 8 of 15 in the game, but again, it's really not reflective because it didn't matter how many times he threw the ball. It was about getting the defense off balance by completing those passes early on and then allowing Ahmad Hardy to do what he did. And I also want to touch on the average depth at target from Zollers' passes. In his first game, it was 15.5 yards, and that game plan just wasn't going to cut it. What they did is they got his average depth at target down to 10 yards, which makes it opens up the playbook a ton, and I just think that was critical for Missouri on Saturday.
Yeah, Mizzou relied far too much on the deep passing game against A&M, and that, again, didn't allow Zollers to get in rhythm, and he was kind of forcing some throws that he probably shouldn't need to be doing. So in this game, they let him get in the short game and just let receivers do something with the ball. You know, you saw with Josh Manning with his 25 yards after the catch. Like, these receivers are talented and can make things happen, and so put them in that position to let them do that. I think it's going to be important if Zollers is going to continue to be the starting quarterback for Mizzou.
Assuming if Zollers is the starting quarterback for Missouri, what do you need to see out of him out of the final 2 games?
Yeah, I think just continue to build his confidence and let it grow. I think as his confidence builds, he can, maybe rely on the deep game more, but I think moving forward, you still got to let him use the short game and just get those easy passes to build confidence.
I mean, he's a true freshman quarterback. There's going to be growing pains. We know that. So it's really just about taking what the defense gives you. And once the defense overplays the short pass, then the playbook will open up for the long one. But you can't try and throw the ball 15 yards downfield every time against one of the best defensive fronts in the country. Just not a recipe for success with an 18-year-old quarterback.
I think you just want to see a proof of concept. We know the arm talent is there, and we know he can hit those deep shots. Can he hit the hitches? Can he hit the slants? Can he hit the out routes? That's a lot of what makes good quarterbacks go to great quarterbacks. And I just really want to see Zollers be able to hit the easy stuff. He couldn't really do that against Texas A&M. He did that way more against Mississippi State on Saturday. I'd like to see more of that going forward.
He also had a nice cushion provided to him by the defense. They had one heck of a day for the secondary as well. Let's check it out. There is a monster of a man in Chris McClellan Jr. We jump to the first third down, first Mississippi possession. Blake Shapen sacked by McClellan. Oh, there he is, loss of 7. They punt on the next play.
It's always awesome when you can get home by not sending extra pressure. Mizzou has been very good at doing that this season. McClellan set the tone early by bulldozing the MSU center for a sack.
Later in the first quarter, Shapen sacked again by Darius Smith, a loss of 5. He had 2 sacks on the day.
Yeah, Missouri Darius Smith had a great game, honestly. 3 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks. This was his coming out party. That was a nice play.
And then look at this. This is crazy. The ball's loose on the ground. Toriano Pride scoops it. He ends up taking this. Hey, this is an Ahmad Hardy run here, folks. Look at this. Cutting back upfield, making bodies miss, following blockers, high-stepping, 62 yards all the way down into Mississippi State territory. Tigers score on that drive and lead 21-10.
Yeah, like I said, a weird play. I believe the ball hit off the holder's thigh there, and it just bounces all over the field. Toriano Pride is able to pick that ball up. And yeah, he shows off some speed here, and this is kind of a career game for him, I would say, at Mizzou.
Tigers stopped them 7 times, 7 inside the 5-yard line to force that turnover. And then look at this. This is one of the craziest plays I've ever seen. Goes off the back of Cornell into the hands of Pride. Shot out the shot from Tyson Ellison. Oh my goodness, what a pick 6.
Yeah, you don't see that very often with the ball hanging up for that long after a great PBU. Dalen Carnell able to disrupt the pass, and Toriano Pride never gave up on the play, and a great pursuit leads to a pick 6.
Right place, right time, and Marvin Burks can tell you a thing or two about that. Ball throwing right to him into his hands for the pick 6, 28-yard return. Mizzou ends up leading 42-24.
We found out after the game Eli Drinkwitz challenged his defense to get 2 turnovers on Saturday. Not only did they get 2 turnovers, they got 2 turnovers and 2 touchdowns. The defense played great and set up the offense plenty on Saturday.
Defense played great. Let's take a second to talk about it here. Toriano Pride named co-SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Marvin Burks, again, looking sharp on the secondary as well. And this defense really came alive. What did you guys notice?
Well, I mean, the statistics were really, really good. 13 tackles for loss. We saw the 2 pick 6s there on the highlight. Again, it felt like everybody was eating. We haven't seen that so much this season, where all 3 levels of the defense were playing extremely well. But it was really nice to see the defensive line, the linebackers, even as Zach said, without Nate Johnson, without Josiah Trotter for a majority of that game, and the secondary too, all playing at an extremely high level.
Yeah, I mean, the defense finished the game, and this will show you how good it was at every level. 13 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 7 pass breakups. That's complimentary football right there. That's all 3 levels getting it done at a high level, and it was just really impressive to watch all day. Even though Mississippi State scored 24 points, Missouri's defense really won them this football game.
Yeah, I think throughout the year when we talk about the defense, we don't really ever talk about the secondary. That's kind of been the area of the defense that struggles the most. But during this game, we saw them play a great game between Marvin Burks and Toriano Pride. Like, that was 3 game-altering plays, and it really kind of changed the course of the game and just gave the offense a little more room to breathe. I mean, Chris McClellan said that, Ahmad Hardy might be scoring the ball too quickly because the defense just has to keep getting back on the field. But, even through, fatigue, they continued to apply pressure on Mississippi State, and just a fantastic performance from all fronts.
Couple rough games for the defense, Quentin. What changed against Mississippi State this week?
Well, I think, again, as I had said in the highlight, they were able to get home with just 4 pass rushers. They didn't blitz very often, and that's why I think Blake Shapen took off and run so often, is because it was only 4 going at him. And when he ran, he wasn't very productive because there were guys waiting for him all over the field. And it's so interesting. I was looking at the box score after the game, and this is where I think box score watching can get a little bit perilous. Mississippi State ran like 40 more plays and dominated time of possession. But that had to do with a couple of things. Mizzou was scoring the ball extremely quickly on offense, often. And Mississippi State was getting stopped often. We saw in that red zone possession, they were stopped 8 times before they attempted the field goal that went awry. And so I think it was just a really good all-around performance, and I'm glad we highlighted the defense.
Defense was pretty, and so was some of the photos that our guy John Gronsky took. Check them out. much as I hate to admit it, Tyson is usually right about a lot. And all I can say in this week's Sideline Study Hall, Tyson called it.
How did Ahmad Hardy have so much separation? Could be because of his speed, could be because no one wants to tackle him, but I'd say it's because of a simple equation: cause and effect. It happened on film, so it will happen again. Missouri did a great job in their film study. These are all the topics we hit last week on Sideline Study Hall. Watch this run here by Georgia. You see how every single player that could tackle is accounted for and blocked? Well, Missouri's going to do the exact same thing. First drive of the game here, Ahmad Hardy's going to get the ball, and let's pause the clip. Every single person that could make the tackle is blocked. This run defense is not very strong. Kevin Coleman's going to even get his block here on the sideline. Same with Donovan Alubade. Great blocking upfield. That's what allows for explosive runs to happen. Ahmad Hardy does a great job on that play. Mizzou vowed to do better at getting Matt Zollers comfortable in this game. You could do that with short passes at the perimeter. Well, guess what? Matt Zollers to Josh Manning here is going to get the ball out to the sideline on a short pass and let Josh Manning do the rest. Nobody's tackling him because the Mississippi State defense is tackling themselves. They couldn't tackle in the perimeter, and that's going to remain true as Josh Manning goes all the way to the end zone here. He's going to show off some great contact balance and score. This would make it 2 touchdowns for the Tigers in this football game. Now right here, Georgia quarterback. He's got one deep route he's looking at the entire time down the field here to the left sideline for the offense, and it's a catch. Guess what? Matt Zollers forces somebody to jump off sides, throws the ball deep, left sideline. Donovan Alubade, double covered, doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a catch, and another great one for the great freshman wide receiver. Mississippi State showed this play on film. This play is called floodgates. What does that mean? Well, set, hut, open the floodgates, allow your quarterback to get sacked. They allowed 32 of them before they played against Missouri, and that number did not get any nicer to look at. Blake Shapen going to try to roll to his left, and this is how you can tell this man's been hit too many times this season. No contact, just going to roll straight to the ground instead of trying to break that tackle, but I don't blame him. I wouldn't try to break a Darius Smith tackle either. He is going to catch you, and he does on this play. There's another sack for the man. In the goal line, though, it wouldn't be Shapen. It would be Kamario Taylor with the quarterback run, which equals +1 blocker with the running back ahead of him. Mississippi State scored multiple times on this season. They attempted it here, but take a look at that pile. Where is the quarterback supposed to run to? Kamario Taylor didn't know either, which is why he is just brought down to the ground here, nowhere to run. Marquise Gracial's got him. The whole defensive line meets at the quarterback. And again, another tackle for loss. I told you that both quarterbacks would play in this game. I didn't think we'd see them both on the same play. That's what happens here. It's a read option between Shapen and Taylor. They're going to have the exchange here, and afterwards, Shapen's going to roll out to his right and throw this ball down the field. Quarterback to wide receiver. There's a nice wrinkle, and you love to see some creativity offensively. That allowed for Mississippi State to have an explosive play that wasn't on tape. You couldn't prepare for that, but you also could not prepare for both of these young men to have a pick 6 in the game. It's great to see the defense scoring touchdowns for Missouri. They're going to need some defensive touchdowns in Oklahoma next week. Jacob, back to you.
Thanks, Tyson. Thursday, the picks were placed, and today it's time to see who got their take wrong in Take It to the Grave. And you can just hand that wheel over here.
Yeah, I don't need this.
You can, yeah.
Do you want this?
I know.
What is this?
I know you don't. You got yours right.
Seriously, what is it?
You don't know.
I don't know what this is.
Mr.
I know you need to find out.
You're Mr. Get stuff dumped over your head.
There you go.
Are you still cold?
That was early on. I mean,
this is my time.
Well, Zach is cold and victorious.
You know, I embrace suffering in all aspects of my life. Here we go.
Yeah, you are a Bears fan.
Yes, all aspects.
Hot take.
Again?
Hot take. They really like you eating
the
hot
peppers like
sauce.
Italians. The peppers like Italians.
Apparently, the peppers must like me. That's the third time I'm eating spicy stuff. But that's it. That's it for Take It to the Grave. Let's check out the AP poll. Tigers back in at 23. The guy that originally got the Tigers in the AP poll, Bo Pribula, was actually listed as doubtful for this game. Is there a chance we could see Bo back as the starting quarterback quicker than we anticipate?
Yeah, it sounds like it. CBS's Matt Zenitz reported, I believe, this morning or yesterday.
Last night.
Reported last night that Pribula could play on Saturday against Oklahoma, which is crazy considering how gruesome his ankle injury was against Vanderbilt a few weeks ago. Whether he actually plays or not remains to be seen. We still have the SEC availability report to view Wednesday night, and whatever Drinkwitz says on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think the report said that there's optimism among the program. And based on what we saw, what the media was able to see in warmups, I can understand that. I mean, Bo Pribula was moving around in warmups. There was no brace on the ankle. He looked pretty okay out there. And obviously it's tough to say, and there was no defensive pressure, but he was slinging the rock and he was running around. I would not be shocked at all to see Bo Pribula out there on Saturday against Oklahoma. It is kind of crazy given how severe the ankle injury looked originally that he's at this state right now. But given everything we've seen over the last couple of weeks, it seems like he's progressing better than expected.
Yeah, all the reports had said that it was probably going to be the bowl game at the earliest, but now we're looking at it and he might be back for Oklahoma. That's pretty crazy recovery time for him. And if you got to imagine if he's good to go, that there's a good chance that he's going to start Saturday and a really important game for Mizzou for the rest of the season.
Do you think if he's available, the Tigers start him?
Yes, I would say so. Zollers, he's still a true freshman. He's looked better. He looked a lot better against Mississippi State, but I still think in this position, Pribula gives you a better chance.
Tigers under Drinkwitz haven't lost on senior night. That was the case today. As seniors here, we can appreciate it, and we're going to give you a look at the sights and sounds of senior night.
We'll see you at Jesse Hall because we all want to ride along.
A lot of guys literally carrying the rock. Y'all were there for the scene at senior night. Can you describe it?
Yeah, it's always really cool. Just because you want to send those seniors out with the win, especially guys like Dalen Carnell and Connor Tollison, who we talked about last week, committed to Mizzou when Mizzou was far from the shape they are in right now. And they could have committed other places, but they chose to not only go here, but they stuck it out. They stayed, they saw this thing through, and they're going to leave Mizzou better than they found it, which I think is really neat.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's really cool to see those videos of the seniors getting carried off by the underclassmen, and you can tell how meaningful that is. And Eli Drinkwitz brought it up in the post-game press conference, but they're 6-0 in rock games since he's been there. Rock games being the games, the senior night, where they are playing for those rocks. And it's just really cool that 6 times now in his tenure, the seniors have been able to get carried off with the tradition.
Yeah, this is a game they never want to lose, so it was very cool to see that and see kind of the emotion that comes in with senior night and seeing the guys carry each other on their shoulders. It's just really cool. And, Ahmad Hardy playing for Zion Young, he wrote on his forearm, he wrote his name down there. That's just cool to see guys playing for each other.
We still got a couple weeks here on TKS before our time is up and our senior night comes. But in the meantime, we got all the Missouri coverage you could be needing for the rest of the season, plus bowl coverage. You can follow us anywhere you have social media. For Quentin Corpuel, Zach Sweet, Chase James, this is Jacob Siciliano signing off for the Tiger Kickoff Show.